Hello guys, how are you doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel, and today there are Nintendo Direct rumors that have been going around the past couple of days, and as a YouTuber who talks about video games and Nintendo, I feel like I'm under some sort of contract to have to talk about it. So obviously I'm being a little bit funny when I say that, but at the end of the day, because I am a Nintendo fan and somebody who talks about Nintendo and gaming on this channel, of course I'm interested in these rumors about a July Nintendo Direct. And July may seem kind of soon because we're actually in the month of July, but that's currently the conversation that apparently after all of this time, finally crossing the 300-day milestone since the last full traditional Nintendo Direct, now here we are hearing conversations about a new one coming out this month, which I think for some people maybe seems earlier than they expected a Nintendo Direct, and for other people, a lot of us, feel like it's just been way too long since we've actually seen the Nintendo Direct. So the conversation has been all over the place. Yes, it's exciting. Yes, we want a Nintendo Direct. Yes, we all want it this month in July, but is it really going to happen? Tough to say. I think for me, what's tricky about this rumor is trying to understand really where it came from and if there's any validity to it. And it's always a crapshoot whenever a rumor about Nintendo or a Nintendo Direct happens. Even in a normal year, when things aren't so weird and slow and strange, it's still a crapshoot because you just never know what Nintendo is going to do, and there's always this conglomerate of people on the internet trying to put out fake stuff just to get attention, just to get a rise out of people. And so anytime a new Nintendo Direct rumor comes out, it's like, 50-50 it's real, 50-50 it's somebody just trying to start something on the internet. As far as this current one about July, I tried to do a little bit of research to really understand where it came from, because I'm sure we've all noticed over the course of this past week that the conversation did start. Plenty of people on Twitter and on YouTube were talking about a July Nintendo Direct. And I really can't find where this thing came from. The closest thing I can find to some sort of evidence, and I don't even know if this is really it, but the closest I could find is just this one tweet response to a gaming tweet that Jeff Grubb from VentureBeat put out about the summer games lineup being kind of weird or kooky or messy or something. And this other person was like, what about the July Nintendo Direct? And it's like, okay, is that the only thing that anyone is going on? To be fair, we're probably all grasping at straws so much, and all of us as fans, I don't mean YouTubers, I mean as fans, grasping at straws for anything that could be a sign at a new Nintendo Direct, that maybe this was really all it took to just get people going. And so either way, even if there is something different out there that more is about the genesis of this rumor or not, it almost doesn't even matter. I just kind of like focusing on the concept of the conversations out there. The rumor says this month we're finally getting the first Nintendo Direct in over 300 days. So essentially almost 1 year. We would be just 2 or 3 months shy of the 1 year anniversary since the last full Nintendo Direct, which has never happened since Nintendo started them way back in 2011 during the 3DS and the end of the Wii days. And so, do I believe this or do I not believe this? Here's the thing. It's really tough to say that because, as is always the case with a Nintendo Direct anyway, this is no different this year or this time. As is always the case, until Nintendo confirms or denies it, there's plenty of evidence to show why it makes sense for them to do one this month, and there's plenty of evidence that shows why they wouldn't do one this month. When I think about why they wouldn't do one, I think one of the main things is they just came out with this conversation on this quote that I even discussed a couple of days ago, maybe around a week ago, from an investors meeting where they talked about Nintendo Directs and how they've been a great means for relaying and communicating information to the fans, and they've been very successful, but they're open to considering new possibilities, making it seem like there's a chance that they might be considering doing something new. Who knows? But more than that, I think one of the things that I think of that kind of shows why maybe Nintendo wouldn't be planning one in July is that all of the reasons it seems like they've decided to wait on a Nintendo Direct so far in 2020 still seem to be factors. Really, not a lot has changed that would make sense, I should say, for Nintendo to suddenly decide to open the door to giving us a new Nintendo Direct. Right now, as we know, the health situation, the pandemic, is affecting potential release dates and launch dates for different titles. And because of this, people in Japan specifically are all working from home, which has made it harder for Nintendo to develop games, and has made it hard for them to do traditional Nintendo Directs and to get news and stuff out to us. And right now, that's still the case. Like, the pandemic is still going. People in Japan, I think for the most part, are still working at home. I believe Nintendo's Japanese staff is working from home. So all of the people in their home territory who would be developing games and trying to get them ready for their release dates, in theory, are still in the same situation that has made it impossible for Nintendo to do a Nintendo Direct so far. And on top of that, because the health situation is still going on, it also means that if Nintendo has been worrying about hitting release dates, then that problem still exists, right? So apparently the working from home and the trepidation around release dates for games has made it so Nintendo never gave us a true Nintendo Direct during the year, except for the Nintendo Direct Mini. And it's also why they apparently didn't give us their E3 Direct that they were planning. And since these times, nothing has changed. So one would think that any games that they might want to show in a new Direct and any release dates they might want to give us would be just as in flux now as they would have been 4 months ago when this thing was really kind of at its peak. And so if they were willing to not give us Nintendo Directs in April and May, why would they suddenly be willing to do it in July when nothing has changed? Of course, this situation gets trickier simply because of those quotes that I already referenced here in this video about them saying that Nintendo Directs have been, fine, but maybe we're going to consider something else. One of the other quotes that came out of that same investors meeting was the idea that apparently whatever mysterious Switch games that we don't know about that are planned for 2020 behind the scenes, apparently, according to Nintendo, they are, quote, still on track for now. But they also left it open for them to change due to the pandemic situation. So that conflicting statement, which I discussed in a video how kind of frustrating that statement was to me, could kind of give evidence to say, well, if they've got, some mysterious games that we don't know planned for the rest of the year, and if they're telling us that for all they know, those games are still on track, then yeah, I guess giving a Nintendo Direct suddenly in July could make sense, because now maybe they do have a release date picture for the rest of the year that they feel confident about. But because they also added that second statement about, the pandemic could certainly change things, and so we're not quite sure about these dates, it's like, that's the thing I more focus on, and when I combine that with everything I said here about the whole situation not changing since early in the year, I just think that it all kind of shows a very strong case as to why Nintendo might not yet be ready to give us a Nintendo Direct. Now, if we explore a little bit why they would do a Nintendo Direct in July, why these rumors might actually be true and Nintendo is finally preparing to unleash a new full actual Nintendo Direct on us, that hopefully would include dates on games we don't have dates for, as well as some new games that would hopefully be for 2020. The reasons why I think that this might actually be something that's happening is actually very simple, okay? It's not complicated at all, and that would simply be that it's time. Honestly, it's kind of just time. And you know me, I'm not saying this from an entitled Nintendo fan kind of person like, oh, Nintendo, you have to make me happy and do the things I want by giving me a Nintendo Direct right now because it's time and it's been too long and I'm just getting upset, so you can stop me from being upset by giving me the Nintendo Direct that I demand. That's not what I'm trying to say. I mean, in terms of just, I guess just matter-of-factly, and I guess also from a business sense, it just makes sense. Like, I'm sure, and I don't know this, and Nintendo hasn't said this, but I feel really good when I say Nintendo probably doesn't want to hit the 1-year anniversary, right? We're over 300 days. By the time we get to 365, that's it, man. Game over. We've hit 1 full calendar year since the last Nintendo Direct in early September 2019. And I think that they know we as fans are keeping count, and they're keeping count themselves. They're not stupid. They're a smart business, and it's their program that they do. So they know the dates. They know when the last one was. And I would think that there's probably a bit of pride that they would have, enough to say, we don't want to go a full calendar year without a Nintendo Direct. Yes, the pandemic situation has forced our hand and made us change our business model and our game release structure and our Nintendo Direct structure and how we roll those out. But at the end of the day, we don't want to have gone a year. We don't want the fans to have waited a year. And so I truly, truly believe that the biggest case for Nintendo giving us a Nintendo Direct right now in July is just simply because it's actually time to do so. Maybe Nintendo truly does feel really confident about hitting release dates for the rest of the year like they said, or maybe they are worried that they're not going to be able to hit them also like they said, in literally the same breath, right? And so I think whichever side of the fence Nintendo is on, yes, we can hit these dates, no, we can't hit these dates, I would make the case that Nintendo could probably still give us a Nintendo Direct. Okay, I'm going to change my phrasing here. I'm not going to say give us. I'm going to say that I think there's a case to say that Nintendo could still show or conduct a Nintendo Direct very soon, like in the month of July here this month, and not really be committing to too many dates. Maybe not even showing too many dates, but still giving us game information, trailers, and new game announcements in a Nintendo Direct presentation without the dates, and maybe even with a disclaimer that they can't give us dates or every date might be subject to change. They could still give us that, 20, 30-minute package of a Nintendo Direct with all sorts of exciting stuff that we're waiting to see. And I think it would be fine. I don't think that the world or the Nintendo or gaming fan community or the internet is going to melt its minds with anger if Nintendo comes out with a Nintendo Direct with exciting stuff but can't commit to any dates, right? I think that we're all going to allow Nintendo the pass to say, hey, you don't have to give us exact dates right now, Nintendo. It's okay. At this point, we're just happy to see a Nintendo Direct. And hopefully, we're happy to see all of these great new games and announcements and surprises and trailers you've given us in this Direct. I think that even though it's hard to trust people on the internet and people in the gaming community to be kind of mature and rational with their opinions, I actually think this is one of those outlying situations where Nintendo could give us a 30-minute Nintendo Direct in July, say that they have no dates to announce because things could change, they're planned for 2020, here's a bunch of new stuff for half an hour, and I truly think the majority of people would be like, hey, that's great, Nintendo. Right on. We understand the release date situation. We understand the pandemic, but the Nintendo Direct was awesome. Thank you for coming back before we hit 1 year. And Bob's your uncle. Call it good. We're happy. Perhaps I'm putting a little bit too much faith and confidence on the Nintendo gaming fan community here to respond positively to that situation. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you feel that way. And honestly, you probably wouldn't even be wrong to feel that way. But I think I'm honestly going to just stick to it, you guys. I actually do feel pretty good that what I said is probably true. Most people, I think, are going to react just fine to a Nintendo Direct without hard release dates. I think at this point, most of us just want to see the games, Yes, we would like to see, like a No More Heroes or a Bayonetta be talked about and given release dates because we already know about those games. Yes, that part is true, so hopefully that would happen. But if they had that show and they had new games, yeah, I think that we'd all be okay seeing new game announcements without getting a date. If, I'll just pull some stuff out of my butt here. Like if they showed us a new F-Zero and they showed us Pikmin 4, for example, for the Switch, I think that all of us would be like, whoa, an F-Zero is coming, Pikmin 4 is coming. They couldn't give us the dates yet, but that's okay because we've seen the games and we know at some point in the future Nintendo will tell us when we can actually play them. That's the stuff I think people are going to be completely okay with. I don't care if it makes me foolish or gullible. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to put, as dangerous as it is to say, I'm going to put my faith in the community here to say that if Nintendo gives us a July Direct and they don't give us dates, that we're all going to be fine with it, right? Let's just be happy for the things that we do get, especially in a year with a pandemic. Anyway, that's what's going on with this rumor about a July Direct so far. These are my thoughts and opinions and theories and guesses about it, really. If it is or isn't true, this is kind of what I think. Here at the end, I'll kind of touch on an update about the space here. I didn't want to continue putting updates about, oh, my room, my studio, my lighting, my camera at the beginning of every video in this new place until I'm done. So here at the end, I'll say you can probably see things are changed a little bit. I got a brand new desk that I built here, so I've got my work computers here. I've got my personal and YouTube stuff here. Moved my camera to this side of my face. So many people were commenting in the last couple of videos how, oh, the weirdest thing is the camera being on the other side of your face. Or some people were like, the only thing that's changed is the camera moved. Everything else is the same. Rob, what are you talking about? Da da da. Stuff like that. So luckily everything worked out. I could bring it back over here, which I didn't really care either way. To be fair, I got so used to doing this that doing this actually did feel very strange just for me personally. I'm sure it looked weird for you guys. It kind of did feel wrong actually, but I would have continued to do it if I needed to, but I got everything moved. Lighting situation only slightly improved, but I'm going to continue to improve that in this place here. The light I was using in my last house, the one that we were renting, weirdly was very effective in that room, so I was okay with just the regular desk lamp. Here, it doesn't seem to be achieving the same effect, so I've got 2 really bright desk lamps here achieving the job for now, but I'll be updating all that stuff soon. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to be getting some 1UP arcade machines behind me and make this room a good retro gaming space. I'm going to get my Jaguar and GameCube and PS2 set up over here. 1UP arcades behind me along this wall. I'll maybe put up new pictures and stuff because, you know, people like that stuff. People like to see that stuff in the backgrounds of the gaming YouTubers that they like, and I like having it because this is going to be... You know, I've got my music studio I'm building in the garage for the band and rehearsal and stuff and writing. That's one man space I have. This is going to be my other man space. Is all my YouTube stuff, my retro gaming and 1UP arcade stuff. And then, of course, it's also my work office. Again, I've got my 2 work monitors and my laptop right here. So I can do my work here. I can do my YouTube here. So anyway, you guys probably don't care about that stuff, but this is just what's been keeping me busy and what I'm in process of doing. But luckily... I'm set up enough now that I can finally continue on a regular basis doing regular videos and getting on camera more often for you guys as well. So, with that update out of the way, talk about the Nintendo Direct stuff below if you even made it this far into the video. Lots to be curious about, lots to talk about and theorize and discuss. This is a fun time. Hopefully we actually see a Direct, you know, in the next couple of weeks in July. It would be great for my birthday month to get a Nintendo Direct during my kind of birthday time. So, with that being said, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.